Greetings and salutations, YouTube. Hitokiri Mike here, bringing you another episode of our Let's Play Kerbal space program. So, this is the latest rocket that I've designed. As you can see from the title, it's intended to be a communication satellite. So, my plan is to put this puppy into, I guess it's Keostationary orbit. So that means that I need a pretty much a perfectly circular orbit, although I'm gonna put an asterisk there. This is gonna be perfect for me. And, you know, kind of how I consider a perfect orbit, a perfectly circular orbit will be for space. So, you know, if I'm within a kilometer, that's fine by me. So, I did the research, and I'm looking for a 2,864.4 kilometer orbit above Kerbal. And I'll be shooting for pretty close to 1,009 meters per second as my orbital velocity. So the rundown of the craft, standard asparagus stage around my main fuel tank with my mainsail. A secondary stage for doing my burns. This is going to be a manned flight. And then I have the satellite attached to the tip. I just have it attached with docking ports. So what I'll end up doing, I'm going to make a slight change here. I'm going to put another RCS tank right here and a couple of RCS thrusters so that I can gently pull away from the station. This guy. And two of them is fine. I think all the staging should still be fine. So because I attached the satellite to the tip with the docking port, I can't put the regular parachute that you usually see. The nose cone parachute, which is this guy. So I've gone with two radial chutes. And so I've got kind of a lot of battery backup. A couple of the little solar panels to keep this guy charged up during flight. And then I have some of the gigantic solar panels to keep it powered whilst it's in orbit. And because I can't keep the thing oriented towards the planet so much, I have sort of like this redundant array of these communication dishes, and I have a backup communication antenna at the very top. So what I'm hoping to be able to do is put up these guys, or put up two of these guys, in opposite orbits, or, well, I mean, like orbiting on either side of the planet sort of deal, in geostationary orbit, and then maybe putting up sort of maybe orbiting north to south, so that like there's one that is sort of halfway in between that can like, you know, bounce signals back and forth, so I have like total planet coverage for communications. That's the plan anyways. Alright, so let's launch this guy. So we're gonna let it load up here. Also, I've gone ahead and increased the speed so that we don't have to sit all the way through this launch sequence again. As you can see, it's taking me a little bit just to lift off, but there I go. Okie dokie. So I mean, just really a very basic launch profile for myself. It works for me, so that's what I'm going to use. And for some odd reason, we have Jebediah back. I assume it's because I upgraded the version to 0.18.4. So that's using, I believe, the Unity 3 engine. So I'm up pretty high in the atmosphere at this point, and I got a fair amount of fuel left. Standard sort of wait till about 10 kilometers, do my gravity turn of to the 45-degree angle, burnout to get an apoapse around the 100 kilometers. I'm gonna wait until I reach my apoapse to do my burn. Actually, I set a maneuver node there to help me out. But yeah, I'm just looking to get a stable orbit at this point, and then I plan on trying to reach the geostationary orbit height of 2,868.4, you know, give or take a kilometer or so. Like, I know I'm not going to be able to get it perfect. As you can see right here, I'm starting to get to try to reach that that orbital height with the maneuver node. I mean, it's going to take a couple of tries to get it done. It's going to take a lot of tweaking once I get up there. I don't have, yeah, it doesn't look like I have a lot of fuel left in that huge tank there. But it also looks like I don't have to expend a bunch of Delta V to actually get me to that point. So I'm pretty sure what's going to happen up here is I'm going to try to get to that apoapse again. Oh, okay. I guess I didn't. All I did was disconnect that mainsail, end that flight, and go back. One of the things that would be nice at this point is it would be nice if the game knew the thrust potential on, like, its engines. I mean, to be honest, because I'm not given any sort of burn time estimate. I know I do a quick shot here to, like, sort of help me estimate, but I mean, that estimate I know is way off. I think it gives me like a 5-second burn as its estimate, but it ends up being closer to a minute, maybe even above a minute. But yeah, like, I mean, I just have to expend a lot more Delta V than I thought I did. So, we're getting to a stationary orbit up here. it's, you know, closer to probably the 2900. Just doing kind of a couple of orbits around Kerbin. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set this up so that the Keostation orbit is above Kerbin Space Center. Because what I want is I want this to be the first satellite that has constant access through line of sight to Kerbin Space Command, right? So that it can transmit signals back and forth. And like I said earlier, I plan on putting up a second satellite in an orbit that is opposite, like on the opposite side of the planet to this current satellite. And then I'm going to put up a satellite that is orbiting north to south, maybe somewhere around 200 kilometers above the surface. And that should give me a global coverage of the planet, because I'll be able to bounce signals back and forth between the two satellites. So what's going on here is I'm trying to let the planet catch up to me, because I want to have my geostationary orbit above Kerbin Space Command. I think at this point what I'm trying to do is to get down to that geostationary orbit of 2868.4. I'm pretty sure I'm above the point on the planet where Kerbin Space Command is. So I'm just expelling the delta V there to get me into that position. And I'm just going to go back to circularize the orbit. So setting up the maneuver node now. So when the apoaps and periaps kind of switch places like that, like if you can get them sort of into the middle position, that's when like you're closest to having your circular orbit. So I'm just time accelerating over to that point. You can see right there is where Kerbal Space Command is. So just going to burn off that tiny bit of delta V. I believe I actually just did it with RCS. Like, I mean, it was super small. So yeah, everything. Like, yeah, even turning just changes the amount of delta V that I have to expel, because it's so small at this point. So I'm just waiting until I reach the maneuver node, and then I'm going to burn off that tiny bit, yeah, of delta V. I like touch the RCS and it overshoots it pretty much. So I'm getting close to the orbit that I want. You can see right there. Yeah, I'm just I'm trying to perfect it as much as I can. So I'm aligning myself towards the north on the nav ball, so that I constantly have antenna dishes facing towards the planet. Okay, let's see what happens if I hit the 1 key, which hopefully is my action groups. How awesome is that? So now, as this orbits around, it's going to sort of like rotate, I guess it'll rotate this on this axis, like on the roll axis. So having all of these antenna dishes kind of means that there's always going to be something somewhat pointed towards uh, the object in question, being the Kurth. Also, this allows for like communications like from the space center to like other objects. Like, I mean, relatively soon the Kurth is going to block at the moon, but you know, that's great. Hopefully with another satellite like this on the other side, and then like a very sort of basic satellite orbiting north to south. Like, hopefully that will clear things up. So now what I want to do at this point is I'm going to decouple from the satellite, and I want to actually fly my manned capsule. I want to like burn on the retrograde and have it fall back down onto Kurth. So I actually learned from my last video, I really don't want to experience whatever it was, upwards of 15 Gs of whatever, 15 I guess 15 Gs just from decelerating into the atmosphere itself on a like a really steep angle. So I'm setting up a maneuver node to get me somewheres in, I believe it's, I can't remember exactly, 20 to 40 kilometers above the surface. I'm going to use the atmosphere, or atmospheric braking, I guess is what it is, to slow me down, to capture me, to pull me back down onto Kerbin itself. So I'm doing the burn right now to get me my periaps to that. I'm just going to say it's around 30 kilometers above the surface of Kerbin. So I've done the burn there. I'm just waiting. I'm going to wait until, I guess I'm just fine-tuning it. And I'm going to time accelerate until I reach down to, well, I mean, I think, yeah, above, once I hit 65 kilometers, I'm kind of stuck. I don't get to, like, do anything except for hardware time acceleration. Oh, wow, look at that. Just the light through the atmosphere of the planet itself. That's pretty awesome. Oh, nice sunrise. So, yeah, as you can see, I mean, I'm already starting to break the, like, the periaps is starting to come down. I don't think I'm going to do any more burning. I think I'm just holding on to the fuel tank and the engine as a precaution in case I do have to do burning. But I mean, as you can see there, I'm committed to coming down, and you know, I'm nowheres near the red. So there, I've disengaged the fuel tank and engine there, and I'm just going to let myself come down onto the planet. I don't know. I find I wait until I'm like traveling at less than
200 meters per second. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's dangerous or what. But yeah, I wait until I'm like less than 200 meters per second before I deploy my chutes. They're kind of in the drag configuration, then they open up fully, and then I just wait until I hit the ground. Um, Time accelerate until I get to the point where I hit the ground. On the ground, now I can, say that I've completed that. I can end the flight, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the video once I have all of the communication satellites in orbit. So when I come back, that's what we'll see.
And there we have it. Okay, so what we got. Actually, what I'll do is I'll accelerate time here to show you how this guy works. So currently I'm on the Mark II, which I'm saying is the second satellite. So this guy's the first one with like access to like line of sight to Kerbal Space Command. Then I have the satellite on the other side of the planet, and they're pretty much completely opposite to one another. And then, like I said, I have orbiting from north to south this minicom satellite, which is just a little sort of antenna array, and a couple of solar panels to keep it powered up. So yeah, like I said, let's see this guy in action. Okay. So, as you can see, I hope you can see. Maybe that's a little too fast, but they're pretty much, let's plan it. In, whatever it is, Keostationary. There we go. Took me a little while to remember that. And I believe that is from The Mind of Scott Manley. So, that's kind of cool with the sun, just because it's pretty much paused while it loads us in. As we zoom around the planet, we have Kerbal, the Kerbal Space Center in the sights at all times. And the last thing that I ended up putting up is this little mini satellite. Maybe I should have had the satellite system, communication system, up and running before. So yeah, just like I said, it's just a little satellite, some smaller solar panels. We got some antenna arrays and the secondary antenna. I don't know. I don't even know if this guy's ever out of like direct sunlight. So I think it's just constantly getting power, which is awesome. And I don't think I can warp too fast with this guy, but pretty much has constant contact with either satellite. Maybe at some points there's at some points, you know, the planet itself kind of gets in the way of signals, but I assume that they've compensated for like that by like allowing it to like store data and stuff like that. But yeah, so there we go. We have our global communication system set up. We should be okay for zooming out here, starting to explore our solar system. I guess maybe it's a Kerbal system. I don't know. I think the sun's Kerbal. But yeah, that's the star. Maybe in the next episode, maybe we can set our sights on Duna. Like, yeah, let's send a space probe there so that we can get some information. And I mean, with our satellite system set up like for communications now, I mean, like it's almost guaranteed that we'll be able to get a signal back from Duna from any space probe. So yeah, let's put up a space probe orbiting that planet there, and we'll be able to take our first glimpse of it. But that'll be for next time. So yeah, it's been a pretty good episode with setting up our communication array. But yeah, in the next episode, we will leave the influence of our home planet and reach for Duna. But until then, I hope to see you in the near future.